Good evening, all, and welcome back to the weekly forecasting sessions that we used to have. As you are all aware, I have been quiet for a couple of weeks, and I think that the reason for that has become apparent over the last 2 weeks as well. Been busy working in the background, launching a new educational concept in the Forex industry, and exposing everybody, including yourselves who have been following the channel for a little while now, to the inner workings of what I was utilizing to analyze my trades and execute my trades confidently, taking things forward on top of and beyond the price action that we always used to discuss. So this was something that I have been doing now for approximately 10-11 months, and it's grown on me, as they say, and it's something that I have fundamentally been doing with every single forecast analysis and execution that I've done, at least in the last 6 months. We decided, as you're all aware, to release this knowledge for free, to expose people to something that very few people actually come by and are made aware of how surgically precise trading can be if you utilize the right approach and understand the markets as you need to be. So without further ado, what we will now do is, this is going to be a completely different format of forecasting, where I'm now going to expose to you the secrets already being let out the bag. So there's no point in hiding certain elements of key levels and confusing you in regards to what they are and what they aren't, and then having to explain that it's not something that's readily available to everybody without subscribing to a data feed package. So the information for all of this is available in the YouTube content that we've released on the intermediate course and the advanced course for the volume traders. We've also put in there links to the data feed provider that we use, called Cluster Delta, and all that information is able to be accessed and uploaded onto your MT4 platforms for you guys to also now run all of the tools and indicators that we feel can help and assist in you making good execution decisions on the spur of the moment, with logic and clear information from the markets live as it happens. And it's not just a case of hitting and hoping, it's true evaluation and logical execution on exactly what the markets are telling you, in fact, with very little left to the imagination. So as I said, without further ado, let's jump now into the new format of our weekly forecast. We will be exposing ourselves to levels that we historically had marked on the chart that kind of had price action involved within the higher time frame analysis and the overall trend that we're looking at. But then as we get down onto the lower time frames, I will now be exposing you to areas of interest such as volume, such as depot, such as imbalance levels that we're looking at on the higher time frame of the market to kind of react from. So the very general format of chart that we used to see, we have been looking at for a long time. Since the tail end of last year, we're in a bearish trend. We've seen the market bounce now at a certain level over the past few weeks, and it has tested lows that were down here. It's liquidated those lows in the previous week, and we're now moving back down, I believe, into this wick to reject out of this wick, possibly for buys, before we then come back and test these lows. Now, again, we don't predict the market, we assess the market. We give ourselves a very rough guideline projection in terms of an assumption, and we react when the setup develops. Again, that information is available on the course. We have tried to make it as clear as possible in regards to what the preferred setup for TVT is, and I'll try and explain that as I go forward from this point on, and trades are kind of executed and put onto the social media. So weekly chart, we can clearly see bearish trend left behind supply that we marked up from previous levels. This is all historical data that was left on the charts because it hasn't been mitigated as yet and is still valid to us. Now, when we get closer to these levels, we'll then drill down and see what we can see in terms of imbalances and key levels. But at the moment, let's just kind of view this in terms of price action, and we can see areas of liquidity, areas of supply, fibs that are getting drawn on inefficient wicks, and then the market comes down to test. So again, TVT strategy, we're looking at areas of large volume leg outs that take interim structure, and we can see these lows have been broken, these lows have been broken by the push that kind of occurred here. So in essence, we see a large volume order sitting above this level, which caused the market to come down, do a liquidity grab on the lows that were sitting down here, here, here. And effectively, we were left behind with equal lows here, which were then liquidated this last week. It left behind the supply above, so those levels are still valid. It reacted out of this zone, which obviously was an area where the market again pushed down a continuation move to come back, test, and then retest and take these lows that were left behind. It then fell into an area of weekly demand. There are levels of daily demand below us, as well as interim daily demand sitting here, which we'll see as we get down on the lower time frame. So as we step down onto the daily chart, we can see that we've got areas of supply. The supply is not a candle. It is an area that we are marking as where the market reacted and then took lows. So as we can see here, this is the area where the market reacted and took lows. Doesn't necessarily need to be seen as a bullish candle for a bearish move. It's the top of the wick where the market came up, tested that zone, and then created the volume push down to then take lows, and then it continued down. We can see where it came back to test. It tested the inefficiency in this candle here, which clearly would have been an imbalance. That was taken, left behind liquidity again, and it continued to sell. As we step down onto the 4 hour, we will now open up our chart and present some key levels. So it's going to look crazy for you right now, but we'll go through it, okay? What we can see is these can all go. They have been mitigated, 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 taken, 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 and taken. Okay, these were the ones that I was expecting to see. We have got all of these setting up here, so they are still valid as areas of imbalance and volume moves that were created at the top of the supply, where institutional orders were placed in, and then obviously the market respected them. As it continued to come down, these areas are still valid. So let's drill this down onto the 1 hour, and we can see exactly what we're looking at for the week ahead. So in the previous week, we can see that the market kind of fell away. It had this large bearish imbalance that kind of was left behind, large volume orders. The weekly POC from the week before is sitting up here. It wasn't tested by the moves the following week. It continued to reject out of that area. There was a daily POC from Friday of last week before, and that was kind of respected with the move that kind of occurred for the remainder of the week. The market then came back and tested this area of equal highs. As we can see, inefficient wick. Inefficient wick gets tested, 50% gets taken, leaves behind liquidity at this point here, and then continues to reject. So now the areas that we are targeting are, there is a bullish imbalance sitting here on the lower time frame, 1 hour and 30-minute chart on MT4. This bullish imbalance has not been taken as yet. It has been missed by the bounce that occurred at this point. And because it has not been taken, it is still valid. It could be touched and the highs could be taken again. But what we're looking at is the weekly POC on this specific week that's passed at the moment. It sits down at the bottom of this very deep, inefficient wick. And it's not only the weekly POC, it's all of the also the daily POC for Thursday. So we're looking for the market to come down and possibly even test these levels. It will take this bullish imbalance. It'll come back. It'll test the weekly POC down here, the daily POC, and we want to see it kind of reject out of this level to then try and test this bearish imbalance to either confirm for sales at this point or continue higher to test the weekly POC, which also is paired with the daily POC from 2 weeks ago, to then reject down deeper into these levels here. So this is kind of the initial impression that we're looking at. We're probably looking for a retest of this level, interim move bullish up to this bearish imbalance here, rejection down to the weekly low of the POC, and then back up again. So it's going to be a bit of a zigzag week, I believe, the week that we're facing up at the moment. So we could see something like this occur. Okay, and I'll leave that there for the time being, and we'll see how the week develops and this kind of moves forward. Again, a slightly longer video than before, but I have drilled down into the very nitty-gritties of what we're looking at on the intermediate and advanced course. I hope it makes sense. I hope it has helped. I would encourage you and recommend that you spend a lot of time looking through the course content and trying to implement the strategy before you actually even think about trading it live. Use a demo account, go through the intermediate strategy first, utilize that first, get your theory and practical straight on that basis, then get onto the advanced course, get yourself aligned with utilizing the footprint, the market profile, and the imbalance tools, and understand how they kind of work. It'll take you a bit of time to get used to reading the footprint chart, but once you have got it, it will literally feel like you're cheating at an exam. The market will tell you what it's doing at certain levels, and when the pattern kind of formulates, which I've already let quite a few people know about, equal highs, equal lows, liquidity grab, and then rejection to the other side, that is the golden setup. So we should be looking at in and around the key levels that we mark up, either bullish or bearish. That is what we're looking at. We're looking for the presentation of the pattern to confirm that our move is a TVT setup. Enjoy the week. Take your time with it. We do have the mentorship live. It will take on numbers in the coming days. The YouTube content is being taken up really, really well. And hopefully it will continue like that. We've seen 5,000 views in the last 2 weeks. And hopefully it's only going to grow. With the benefits that you see through the content and the information that has now been expounded out there to the community free of charge, you really do have everything that you need to make the best out of your trading journey and making yourself very, very profitable. The basic thing is you need to stick to the principles, understand the concept, and just have discipline enough to follow the plan that has been laid in front of you. All right. As with everything, YouTube contacts and comments are open. Please like, share, subscribe. My channel, which is the Stacks TVT channel now, as well as the Volume Traders channel. Links to everything will be in the description. If not tonight, then by tomorrow. And again, engage on Instagram on both accounts. And any questions and queries and concerns that you have, my social media platforms are always open. The mentorship and the subscription service will be taking shape very, very soon. We've got quite a few members already aligned on that, and it'll only get better. And that's where you'll kind of get one-to-one information from us on the Discord chat, as well as live trading at least once a week is what we're planning for. So those who are hesitant on joining, I would say get yourself ingrained on the knowledge first, understand it, cement it within your habit of trading. And once you've got yourself down on the basis of the understanding of the intermediate and the advanced course, that's when you should try and think about possibly joining the Discord. We're not asking anybody to join for a year. We're just saying that, there is a fee for a monthly subscription. If you feel you can get enough benefit out of it in 1 month, then all of the knowledge that you're going to need to get yourself long-term profitable and a full-time professional trader that will be able to be financially stable, you can probably achieve that within 3 months. So literally for a very, very minimal fee to what everybody else is charging, all the tools and all the information and knowledge is now literally laid out on a plate. Nobody has any excuses about not knowing what to do and having, confusions in regards to where to trade and what to trade and how to trade, because we've literally just opened up Pandora's box, and everything that you need is there for you to have to understand exactly what the market is telling you and what you need to do. All right. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I probably will not trade tomorrow. I'll be back on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's the basic TVT days that we trade. We don't like to trade Monday. We don't like to trade Friday. It's usually a bit of a sketchy subject every week. But if the setups do develop, then, it's not to say that I don't trade habitually, but I'm not looking at the charts actively on Mondays and Fridays. So speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.